Let me tell you the story of two teachers. Same passion, same dedication, but their lives couldn't be more different. One wakes up early every morning, has a hurried cup of coffee while she gathers her thoughts, and then commences in hurrying up and getting herself ready before waking up her children and getting them ready to head out the door so that way everybody can get to school or to work or to wherever else they need to be. She sits in the parking lot with knots in her stomach, taking a couple more sips of her coffee before gathering up her bags and her drinks and her lunch and walking into the school building, wondering how many more times, how many more years she can continue to do this. Her paycheck is mostly spent before it even hits the account and wonders if exhaustion is just part of the job now. The other, she sips her coffee slowly in the morning before getting her children up, giving them breakfast, and getting them off to school. Then she takes her dog for a walk before coming home, making herself breakfast, and getting dressed and getting ready to see the students that she chooses to work with that day. Doing the parts of teaching that she loves most, earning more than she did when she was in the classroom, and still having time for the life she thought she'd have to put off until retirement. Which path are you on? And more importantly, are you ready to choose a different one? If you're feeling more than a little skeptical right now, I get it. You've probably already tried everything that they told you would help. Another certification, changing schools, and my personal favorite, closing the door and doing what's best for the kids. And yet, here you are, still exhausted, still wondering if there's any way to continue to do what you love, having the impact that you want to have without sacrificing your health, your family, and your joy. And here's what I want you to hear right now. It is not that you have failed. It is not that you are not good enough, smart enough, or have worked hard enough. It's not you. It's because you have been playing by rules that you had absolutely no say in defining. But what if there's another way? What if there's a way to take all the things that you love about teaching and only those things and build a life and a career around those things? Well, stick with me because I'm about to show you how that's possible. Well, you might be wondering, who am I to even say that this is possible? Well, I'm Rachel Cicioni. I'm a former high school French teacher who spent nearly a decade loving my students, my coworkers, my job, but barely surviving the system. Like so many of you, I poured almost everything I had into my classroom and my students. I poured my time, my energy, my heart, and a decent amount of my paycheck into my job, only to be treated like none of it mattered. In 2020, I finally hit my breaking point. Between the impossible demands of the classroom, virtual and otherwise, and the desire to be the mom and partner that I wanted to be, I had nothing left to give. I used COVID and childcare as my excuse for leaving the profession that I loved. But it was never the teaching. It was never the students. I still loved all of that. And I missed it when I left. But I left because I couldn't continue to sacrifice for, frankly, a system that didn't care whether I was there or not, for a system that refused to hear me and a system that refused to change. And that's when I discovered something that I didn't even know was possible. I could teach and thrive as a self-employed teacher. It wasn't on my radar either. I was approached by a very small local private school who was teaching 100% online at the time because COVID. And they asked if I could put together a French program for just 2 students. Now, because it was only 2 students, they couldn't hire me. But they said they spoke with the parents, and the parents would be interested in hiring me to teach them privately, and the school would give them credit for it. Okay. I'd been in private schools, so I knew that they could kind of make some of their own rules. I had no idea what this would look like. I had already taken a part-time position as a classroom aide elsewhere, but I missed teaching, and so I decided to give it a shot. I mean, what's the worst that would happen? Well, the best happened. Within 3 months of starting teaching privately, I had to give my notice to the part-time position I had taken. So that way I could open up my schedule more in order to take on even more private students. This opportunity that I didn't even know existed just began to explode for me. Now, at first, I thought this was just going to be a temporary thing, just a COVID while everybody was kind of online and so much was uncertain. But it didn't. And now here we are, years later, and it's still going strong. I'm still signing new students. I have students that I have been working with for years. And in 2022, I realized I was on to something. I had figured some things out. I figured out how to do this sustainably. I figured out how to price in such a way that I could stay true to my mission for doing this in the first place, which was to not deplete myself and still be able to show up as both the teacher and mother and wife and family member and friend, and just as a whole person that I wanted to be, and still teach. Since 2022, I have now helped teachers from all over the country in the United States and in Canada in all content areas through all different ages and ideal students, and the things that they have been able to create for both themselves and their communities has really been humbling to be a part of. Some of the teachers I've worked with have created businesses that allow them to pursue other passion projects. Some of them have created businesses that allow them to take care of aging parents or to help their adult children plan their weddings and go on family trips. Some have created businesses that allow them to visit their children who have gone off to college. Some, it has allowed them to homeschool their own children. And every single one of them wondered if this was something that they could do and worried that it would be too hard until it wasn't. Because when you have the right support, the right plan, a community that truly gets it, everything changes. And that's exactly why I created the Teacher to Entrepreneur, or T2E, 90-day intensive program to help teachers just like you reclaim your life, profession, and joy and freedom. And if you're ready, I'm here to help you do the same. So let's talk about the real cost of staying stuck. Every day you show up feeling exhausted, undervalued, underappreciated. The emotional toll of that, you're paying more than you expect. You're paying more than you think you are. The emotional toll is heavy. The constant feeling of dread, the tightness in your chest as you walk in, the guilt you feel being emotionally depleted, the irritability that you experience from that depletion that causes you to react in ways that you wish you weren't to your loved ones, the fact that you're too tired or too busy to hang out with friends, and even participate in conversations when you do hang out about the books that they're reading or the shows that they're watching, because school year you doesn't really get to do those things or participate in life in those ways for 9 to 10 months out of the year. But the cost isn't just emotional, it's financial too. Staying in a career where your salary barely keeps pace with inflation and where you have to use your own money in order to do your job well. In addition to that emotional toll, your district is constantly asking you to do more with less. And do you really know what the true value is of that retirement that you're holding out for? Could that time, money, and energy be used elsewhere more effectively? Run the numbers. How many more years can you continue to do this? And what kind of shape are you going to be in when you finally can retire? So let's break it down. How much are you spending just to survive the burnout? We're not talking thriving, just surviving. Think about the extra coffees, the candy, the treats. I know you have a candy drawer. Therapy sessions, medications, side effects from the medications, stress-related health issues, the food that you eat because you're too tired to cook. How many family memories are you missing? Either because you're buried under lesson plans, grading, or you just don't have the energy. And what about the cost to your health? Chronic stress does not just disappear, it compounds. Now, imagine flipping that equation. What if, instead of paying the price for staying stuck, you started earning for every hour you actually spend doing something you love? What if your time, expertise, education, training, experience, and energy were valued in ways that actually support the life you want to live? You have to ask yourself, what's really more expensive? Taking the leap to build something new or staying exactly where you are? You might be thinking, I just need more time. Things will settle down. Have they? Are they showing signs of getting better? I hope so. I really hope so. But if not, how much longer are you going to wait? How long have you been waiting already? 1 more year? If time alone was the solution, if there was a secret hack or boundary or perspective shift that was going to make the difference, wouldn't it have happened already? Wouldn't you feel better already by now? The truth is, nothing changes if nothing changes. Or maybe you've tried something before and it didn't work. Maybe you're thinking, I tried tutoring on the side and it just didn't take off. I hear this all the time. I work with teachers who have tried to have a tutoring business or are currently struggling to make their tutoring business work all the time. But here's the difference. Tutoring is usually just trading time for dollars. Tutoring is frequently underpriced, undervalued, and doesn't have the longevity that teaching has. With tutoring, you're frequently triaging some gaps in understanding or skill building, and then once they have accomplished that goal, they're on their way. Teaching is different. Now, that doesn't mean you can't offer tutoring in your business, but what I teach is how to create a teaching business, a multifaceted teaching business that allows you to take advantage of all of your passions as a teacher and create something that is built around your life, your expertise, the things that you love most about teaching, and your financial goals, not anybody else's expectations. And here's the most common reason not to that I hear of all. I just can't afford it. And I understand that one. I really do. I have done everything in my power to make this program, to make what I'm offering as available as possible to as many teachers as possible. If you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you have already looked at and gone through all of the content that I have put on YouTube for you, and go through my blogs, look at where I really lay out every single thing that you need to do in order to have your business. And you can work it on the side and scale it as you need to, because I want you to know that this can be a reality for you. In any business, you are always going to have to invest some ratio of time and money. There's no two ways around that. And only you know what ratio is going to work for you in your life. But I don't want you to think that just because I can't afford it, that that's it for you, that you're stuck, that you just kind of stuck doing the best you can until retirement, because that does not have to be your reality. And I want you to think about the cost of staying stuck, and that it's costing you a lot more than just money. This is your life. This is your every day. Every day is your life right now. And are you spending your days and your weeks and your months in a way that feels aligned with who you are and what you want out of life for yourself and for your family? Taking the risk to start a business isn't about spending money. It's about making an investment in the life that you really want. And that investment will pay you back in ways that a paycheck never could. If you're still here, that means that part of you knows that you are meant for more, and you're just waiting for a sign. So let this be your sign. Biggest myth keeping teachers stuck in the classroom, though, doesn't have anything to do with money. If I leave the classroom, I'm giving up on my calling. I won't find anything as fulfilling as this. But let's break that one wide open. That one goes straight to the heart of why so many of you became teachers in the first place. I thought the exact same thing, and it kept me stuck for years. I told myself that staying in the classroom, no matter how much it cost me, was a matter of dedication. And I looked for every moment of joy that I could hold on to. But none of it stopped me from dealing with the emotional toll. None of that joy I encountered was enough to counteract the exhaustion and the anger and the resentment that was building inside me at everything I was sacrificing. Coming home so tired just from the emotional toll and angry, and bringing that negativity home, no matter how hard I tried to smile, and I couldn't keep it up. It's too much to keep up all day long. And finally, I realized that I really wasn't serving. I wasn't serving anybody. It just ate away at me. I wasn't serving my students by staying somewhere that was eating away at me and who I was. I wasn't serving my family, and I definitely wasn't serving myself. Impact as a teacher can happen outside of the traditional classroom. I promise you, friend. In fact, some of the most powerful teaching I've done in my career has been outside of the classroom. Teaching students who are eager to learn, who seek out exactly what I have to offer, and who thrive because I can give them the very best that I have to give without burnout. The myth that teaching only counts when it's in the classroom, that's gone. What if the measure of a great teacher isn't how much they can endure in order to continue to show up for their students, but it's a measure of how they role model living their lives while teaching their students? When I left, my high schoolers came back and told me that they were proud of me, and that my leaving taught them that no matter how much they love something, it's not okay to stay somewhere where they are not being valued and where they are unhappy. That was never in the syllabus or scope and sequence. but I think it's one of the most amazing lessons I could have taught my students. And it's something I want for them as they go out and live their professional lives now. When you take control of your teaching practice, you become a living, breathing example of the very lessons that you are trying to impart onto your students. Self-respect, resilience, courage, the pursuit of meaningful work. Your impact doesn't end when you leave the classroom, not for your students or for your own children and nieces and nephews. Think of it like this. If the traditional classroom is like a one-size-fits-all shoe that you have been wearing this whole time, in spite of the blisters and the pain, it's too tight in the wrong places, it's too loose in others, doesn't give you the support that you need, and it forces you to walk on a path that was never exactly the path you wanted to be on in the first place and was never designed with your comfort and sometimes not even for your students' comfort in mind. Starting your own teaching business? Well, that's finally like stepping into a perfectly tailored pair of shoes designed to support you, to fit you in all of the right ways, your unique style, and carry you exactly where you want to go. You're not abandoning teaching. You're redesigning it to fit you, your strengths, and your unique gifts that you have to offer. This isn't about fixing something that's broken in you. It's about recognizing you've been trying to thrive in a system that was never designed for you or by you, was never built to support you and your well-being, even when you have wonderful administrators that are doing their best to make that happen for you, but it was still never designed to help you reach your full potential. And when that shift happens, your perspective and everything else change along with it, because suddenly you realize you don't have to sacrifice your health in order to make a difference. You can earn a great income doing what you love, and you are allowed to have both impact and freedom. So this is the new framework. You're not just a teacher. You're an educational expert, and experts have options. You can continue pouring yourself into a system that doesn't value you, or you can build a business that reflects the incredible value that you have to offer and that you bring to the world. The classroom may have shaped you, but it does not have to define you. So let's be brutally honest for a minute. Nothing changes, nothing changes. If you spend this time doing exactly what you've always been doing, where will you be this time next year? Still exhausted, still wondering how many more years you can hold on until retirement, still hoping that things are going to get better on their own, still telling yourself maybe next year will be different. And while you're stuck in this endless cycle, the life you really want, the one where you have time for yourself and your family, your health, your joy, your friends, is slipping further and further away. Every day you stay stuck, you're choosing this life over the one that you could have. I say this with all the love in my heart because I have been there. I know how easy it is to say that now is not the right time, or I'll figure it out when things calm down. Real quick story. My last year, I was in the classroom. My littlest one ended up in the ER. She was 3 at the time. 10 o'clock at night, I call, we're still in the ER, to say that I'm not going to be in the next day and that they're just going to have to use the emergency subplans that I have on the desk. I spent all summer, the previous summer, making sure that I had subplans with copies and instructions and everything on my desk in the event that something would happen, because when you're a parent, things can happen. They happen. And so here I am. 10 o'clock at night, I'm calling the school secretary to let her know I'm not going to be in. Even if we were seen at that moment, it was just not going to happen. And that the subplans were there. And she said that they weren't good enough and that they needed to have something that tied into what the students were currently learning. And I said, well, I don't have my computer, but what I do have is a 3-year-old, and the doctor just came in. You're going to have to figure it out. And I hung up. Just no bandwidth to handle that stress at all. The next year, I did leave the classroom. Almost exactly a year later, following spring, my littlest was sick again. And this time she needed a biopsy. The closest place I could take her was about 45 minutes away. Things were crazy then. When she was in the hospital the first time, things were crazy. Thank goodness I did not wait for things to calm down, because they got crazier. And I don't know how I would have managed if I was not in private practice at that time. So fast forward to now, we're we're driving to another city for a biopsy because nobody could figure out what's wrong with my littlest. And I completely forgot to put an assignment online for my private students. The very next time I saw them, so that was Friday, the following Monday, they had gifts for me and my kids, a card signed by not only my students, but their parents. These were things that mothers of my students put in as like a care package for me because they thought how stressful that situation must have been for me. The kids picked out stuffed animals for my daughters because they thought it must be really scary for them. And when I asked my students what they worked on, they said, oh, well, we just worked on our projects. I'd given them projects to work on. And so they used the time that we would have been in lesson or that they would have been working on the assignments I would have put in the Google Classroom for them to work on their projects. No problem. All right. Sorry. This may end up getting edited out, but I just had to say that because if you're watching this now, there's probably a reason. Leave it at that. So let's talk about some other teachers who have chosen to jump in. Let me tell you about some of the teachers that I've worked with and what they've created. So let me tell you about Barb. Barb started her business for a couple of reasons, but the main one was because she wanted to spend more time with her family. She was a former kindergarten teacher. She had been teaching for 17 years and took her retirement early. She and I started working together in October of 2022, very shortly after I started the private practice teacher. And by December, she retired. She said, you know what? I'm done. I'm all into this. I'm going to do this. And I don't want to do that anymore. So she opened her business in January of 2023. We've been working together for 2 months. That first month, she had gotten 1 student. By the second month, she had 4 students, was earning over $1,000 a month. Shortly thereafter, by the time she hit her 3rd month in business, she was earning $5,000 a month, working only 3 days a week. And she only teaches reading. That's the thing that she enjoys teaching the most. And she teaches Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday all year long. And sometimes she even makes more money in the summer than she does during the school year. Or maybe you're more like Steph, who loves to travel. She teaches completely online. So that way she, her husband, and their 2 sons can travel any time of the year. And she takes her business with her because both she and her husband work from home. They're able to travel all over the world. She works 5 days a week, 15 hours a week, and she brings home $4,000 a month. More like me, who just wanted to be able to get my kids on and off the bus every day. I bring home approximately $3,000 a month from my teaching business. I work 3 to 4 days a week and approximately 12 hours a week of teaching time. And that gives me plenty of time and flexibility in my schedule to volunteer in my girls' classrooms, to take my dog for a walk, and even start another business, the private practice teacher, where I get to teach other teachers like you how to create a business that works for the life that you want to create. So here's where everything gets a little lighter. Because yes, I have created a path for you. And no, you don't have to go through this alone. Let me introduce you to my T2E, Teacher to Entrepreneur 90-day intensive. The T2E Intensive is a 12-week program specifically designed for teachers who are ready to reclaim their lives and build businesses that they feel good about and that are profitable and sustainable. We will walk through every step of the process of creating your business, marketing your business, and running your business together with me and with the other program alumni available to cheer you on and support you in your journey. Phase 1 is a mindset reset. We're going to work on some of the outdated beliefs that you may have as a teacher, beliefs that you have around money, and help you transition from a teacher mindset to a business mindset. Next, we're going to get into actually creating your business and all of the assets that you need in order to run and market your business, and all of the assets that you need to both market and run your business smoothly. Once we have those in place, we're going to work on your online marketing tool, and we're going to leverage a mix of both old school and new school marketing methods in order to spread the word, build brand awareness, and let people know that you are available and open for business. And finally, at about the week 8 to 10 mark, you'll be working with your own students, and I will walk you through all of the steps from onboarding to processing your first invoices and receiving your first payments. You're standing at a crossroads right now, and the decision you make today is going to have long-term effects. It's not just about your career. This is about your life. So path one, keep walking down the path that you are already on. Tell yourself to hang in a little bit longer and watch another year go by, feeling all the same feelings you had before. Or path two, you choose something different. You choose yourself for once. You take a brave step forward toward your future, toward creating a life that you want for yourself and your loved ones. One that allows for your talent, your heart, and your experience to all be valued properly. You wake up excited again. You look forward to Mondays. There's no Sunday scaries. There's no summer scaries. There's no summer you and school year you where you kind of vanish off the planet for a little while. You get to be you all year long. And not just you, but the best version of you all year long. So this is the moment where you decide, are you the teacher who's going to continue to sacrifice everything for a system you have no power to change? Or are you ready to become a teacher who teaches from a place of freedom, purpose, and joy? If you're ready to explore what that could look like for you and in your life, I invite you to take the next simple step. Click the link to schedule your no pressure discovery call. There's no pressure, there's no commitment. And in fact, you can't even join my program on your own. You have to be invited. This is just a conversation to see if this is something that's going to be right for you and in your life. And then if we are on the same page at the end, I will extend the invitation to join, and it is completely on you whether or not you accept that invitation. If we get on the call and we're not a great fit, or my program is not the one that's going to help you get to where you want to go, then I will do my very best to steer you towards somebody, a mentor or a program that can help you get to where you want to go. You've spent enough time waiting for the right moment. The moment is now, and I can't wait to see you on the other side.